Welcome again to another episode of Low Code Café. This is the 6th episode that we are making. The topic that we'll be covering today is related to the application that we've been building for the last few weeks. And now we are getting to automating the customer interactions, right? So we build screens to manage tasks and time tracking, but now it's time to get the customer in that application. We'll also be covering some other things today, but just to give you an overview first about this webinar for people that is the first time they are here. This is a weekly webinar that we are doing every Wednesday. And it's a webinar where we also bring our team and also the members of the community. So we get to do interactions all on the development side, but also on principles about how you develop with low code. And then we can also get like more hands-on, like building apps, but also Dale is going to present us some things that happen on support, some tips and tricks that come from tickets. And of course, getting our hands dirty and building technology, building systems with low code. This webinar is recorded, and we already had 5 episodes. They are all available on the on our YouTube channel. So I will put this link in the chat window. If you want to see past editions, go there, view them, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's a good way to stay in touch as we publish more and more content. So the agenda for today is like this. We'll first have Dale tell us a few tips and tricks. We'll discuss what's coming up in Plant an App with Reza. I will give you a few community updates, what we've been working on, how we expand our community, what other tools are coming. And after that, I mean, most of the time we will spend on extending the task management application with Radu from our team. Just some rules for this webinar. There are no rules, so feel free to ask questions, raise hand if you want to also do voice. I can give you that permission. Challenge us with topics, with questions. This event is made for the community, so we want to make the most out of it. So let's get started. Dale, if you can give us, so just to introduce you, Dale, first, he runs the support team. And every week there are many cases, customers coming, asking various things or finding various problems. So then the knowledge that we gain by helping those customers is something that we will share in this webinar, just a few ideas. So Dale, you are welcome to take over.
Great, thank you. Hello, everyone. Bogdan, do you mind if I share my screen?
Sure, of course.
Let's see if I can do that in one try today. Okay, so yeah, from the trenches, I picked out a couple of tickets that I thought might be useful to talk about today. One is dealing with action form, and the other has to do with some best practices. So first, talking about action form, when a required field is hidden, it might prevent submission. So, and it doesn't give you a lot of clues about that. So I thought I would just demonstrate. So I have a quick ticket here, or rather a quick form that I've put together that asks the question, are you under 18, yes or no? And when you answer the question, yes, that you're under 18, it asks, do you have permission, yes or no? So the idea is you say, yes, you're under 18, yes, you have permission, and you click submit, and you get a success message. That's the only action that's set up beyond that form. If you click no, the same thing happens. You have success, your actions were activated. But if you click no, you're not, are you under 18? No, it doesn't ask that second question. And when you click submit, nothing happens. We don't see our green, where the actions are, we don't see our toast message that indicates that our actions have submitted. And it doesn't really tell you what's going on. So this problem comes up, and let me take a look. I've already opened up this action form beyond underneath here. And so everything for this problem is under the do you have permission radio box. So when we look at this, there's two things going on. There's a bind expression that says, is the are you under 18 equal to yes? That's the thing that shows this, this second do you have permission screen. And then if we scroll on down under validation, it says that it is a required field. So because this is a required field, it's preventing submission, but depending on the show condition, it may not be visible. And so that's the thing that's causing us problems. If you take the same condition that you have on your show condition and add it to your validation condition, that makes this validation only happen. Essentially, it says it's only happening when if the control is visible, and so that conditionalizes whether or not this is required. So I'm going to save that change and refresh. So now when we say, are you under 18? No, and we say submit, we're getting our success bar. That condition doesn't apply, and so it doesn't hold up the submission. So that's one tip and trick that if you're conditionalizing some fields, just remember that if they're required, you're also going to want to make the conditional required, the requirement conditional. And then a somewhat related issue on the button itself, the actions that I have for that is just very simply just to display this success message. But if you're trying to debug if you're trying to debug anything in actions, one of the things that we recommend is to use this log error action to help you figure out what's going on. Now, I'm a 5-year developer in DNN Sharp tools, and when I've done this the wrong way myself, I have done where you send yourself an email. Not that it's wrong, but it just adds complexity to trying to figure out what's going on, and you have to wait for the email and things like that. The log error really is the preferred way to do that. So what I've done here is I've just added a message to myself that I'm adding some debugging information, and I'm taking the two fields that I'm collecting, are you under 18 and do you have permission, and I am logging those. So let's take a look at how that shakes out. If I say, yes, I am under 18 and no, I don't have permission, and submit, my actions have run. If I take a look at the admin logs, the most recent entry in the admin log is going to show my debugging information. Are you under 18? Yes. Do you have permission? No. So this debugging, this log event information just quickly goes to the log. And so the thing that you were trying to see, yes, my actions are activating, and we can see the values. So that's two quick tips that I wanted to mention. And hopefully that'll stop you from having to do a ticket on those issues.
Hey Dale, if I could, that's an excellent tip, and I too saw the light on that. And you know, maybe a yes and is one thing that I do then to take that up a notch is as I'm laying those log errors in for debugging and things, rather than just conditionally disable them or delete them when I'm done initially developing, you can put like a query string parameter, like a get debug mode, right? Equals 1, 0, true, false, whatever. And then kind of leave them like that so that they fire only when debug mode is true. No one's ever going to see them. They're going to the admin logs, but then you can put yourself in a debug mode through session or query string and kind of get those right back in without having to go under the hood and re-enable them.
Something like that. So yes, that's a great thing. So then just adding a debug state, adding a debug parameter of yes or 1 or whatever you choose will activate that. So that is a good hint. Thank you, Reza. The best practices that I wanted to touch on today is just I've seen some issues, and by the way, I'm very guilty of this one as a user. You want to upgrade something, but you don't upgrade all your modules together. If you have multiple modules from DNN Sharp and you upgrade only one, sometimes those modules are they have compatibility issues between them, and so you might introduce issues with your other modules or even the one that you upgraded. So our general rules are that you should upgrade all. If you're going to upgrade all to the most recent stable, unless you know that you need something further, one of the hotfix releases. And then if there are modules like 5.7. something that you would take all of those together. If you are upgrading and there are other 5.7 modules, upgrade to the 5.7 across the board. Now, there won't always be a 5.7, but for all the different modules we have, but certainly for our core ones, they tend to get released together. So that's our recommendation. And I've seen it several times this week on the help desk, where somebody has upgraded one module and other things are broken, and I say, well, do you have other products and did you upgrade those? And the response comes back, that fixed my issue, thanks so much. So save yourself some time, install them together. And now I'm going to put in a plug for Plantain app. The Plantain app is going to manage compatible versions automatically, and hopefully Reza will mention something about that as he's talking. But that's all I got today.
Thanks, Dale. We also have a question from Jeff. Is it possible to select an alternate log location for logging things?
I'm sorry, an alternate
location for the log files. I think this log error action that you use, that creates an error entry in the admin, but there's also a log debug message which goes in the log files on disk, so in the portal default logs folder. So
if you don't mind, I'll let you talk to that one. I haven't encountered that particular one yet.
Yeah. So Jeff, yes, it's a different action, log debug message, which it's advised to use when you generate like a lot of debug logs. They will not go in admin viewer, so they will not pollute things there if you have a lot of messages, but you'll have all of them in the logs, in portal default logs. So then you can view them, consume them. They are in the log4net format, so you can consume them with other software as well. Cool. So thanks, Dale, a lot for sharing these experiences. So just to jump over to the product roadmap updates with Reza. If you have, this is the first time that you are in this webinar, Reza leads the product development team. He also talks to key with key customers. So he has a very good understanding of where we are and where we need to be and planning those steps accordingly. So Reza, if you want to take over.
Yep, and if you enable me the ability to share my video, I will do that as well.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries.
I think it's a Zoom setting somewhere. Just finding it. So,
no worries. While you do that, I'll take a peek in a minute. But in the meantime, I'll jump in. Just always wanting to keep everyone apprised and be transparent with what's going on. So we have release 1.7, which we were code complete with last week. Really wanted to drop out this week, and it's mainly focused on a lot of small bug fixes and things that we've been seeing from the support center. Some issues we found when we were doing the 961 testing that weren't really 961 related, but there are gremlins under the hood, and we wanted to squash those. And in doing so, there was actually a security upgrade, kind of going back to what Dale was saying, around a lot of these modules share some common libraries and different things that power them. And so keeping those libraries upgraded and up to date to their more current versions, which have important security fixes and things like that. Always unintended consequences when you upgrade things, just like you guys find when you upgrade our modules and you're like, hey, what's going on here? Same type of thing for us when we upgrade libraries and things. And so we found some issues in UAT, and as much as really wanted to get this release out this week, don't want to introduce problems for people and want to make sure we get it right. So we're taking another week in UAT. Some of the modules are totally clear, and we're giving limited access to them through hotfixes in the support center and stuff. So if someone was really waiting on something or kind of willing to be a little more bleeding edge there and give us feedback and things and try it out on their end, we appreciate that, and we're giving those up. But in the meantime, continuing our testing and just making sure that everything's good to go and that you're going to reap the benefits of the release and not kind of have that offset with other issues and things. So 1.7 will probably drop next week. I think we're on track for that and things are looking good. Most of the things that we found we've taken care of, and just kind of taking another round of full regression testing and just making sure even things we didn't touch are still good. So that's coming. And then on to 1.8. Oops. So 1.8 still on track, even with the 1.7 delays. Most of the team has moved into 1.8 and is working there. A couple of exciting things coming there. One of them being, and Bogdan touched on this, is having more control over when you create entities, which generates not just your data model for you, but also pages and wires up the forms and the grids and things like that, just kind of giving you a real good starting point. A lot of times you can just live with that as is, but when it's very front end facing and user facing and there's some additional, next level type things you want to put in there, you can always tweak that. But having control of where and when they appear in the menu, so kind of borrowing a little bit of a page from the just standard DNN page management, being able to set the enable or not to show in menu, as well as then picking, does the entity or page that it generates have a parent, or is it going to be a parent? And in either case, where do you want it to show? Up top or somewhere underneath another item in the menu? So that's coming along well, and that will be rolled out in 1.8. Also on the entity front, doing a lot of work in there just with hardening it and making sure that it's not going to break on you if you kind of making it a little less easy to do things wrong, and making sure that it stands up to that when you do, and you can put it back, or it, just degrades more gracefully, prevents mistakes from being made, that sort of thing. And then another huge item, really excited about this one. I talked last week about being a big believer in today's world and keeping current on things and not letting yourself drift behind. So we've got this one-click upgrade coming in where you will not only, today, if there's the dependencies and things are, when you upgrade, are able to all be brought up to the right versions that are tested and work together for that version of App Builder, but App Builder itself and letting you have more control over choosing which version you want to put in so you can increment your way to. And so you can upgrade App Builder and get the dependencies at the same time, as well as having a section for hot fixes. Maybe there isn't a new App Builder, or you don't want to go all the way forward, but you see that there's a hot fix. For example, I forgot to mention this in 1.7, with the introduction of the new date time picker, which is not just visually more compelling, but handles date times at the data level more correctly and properly, and can offset and things like that based on time zones. The legacy one doesn't do that, but we had noticed that there were some backward compatibility issues with the legacy date time picker, and so also that's coming in 1.7 as well. So if you're what you have today and you haven't adopted the new stuff, will keep working. But for example, that's a hot fix right now that some people are able to get through support center when they reach out. But you'll have a hot fixes section, so you can apply those as one-off kind of micro and updates to certain modules or dependencies, as we call them in plant and app kind of world. Also, just seeing that, you know, the world moves quick with updates, and 9.6.2 is out, and we've also started doing some testing and regressions and things against that. Things are looking really good there. There's an issue inherent to 9.6.2 that is causing the admin logs to be very chatty and get polluted, which will cause them to grow and could fill your disk space and things like that. So be mindful of that. And so we're not fully compatible yet, but we do have some clients that are on 9.6.2 using our stuff. And like I said, I'm testing that. Team is helping with that, and things are looking pretty good on that front. So don't see that being too far away, and don't see it having to need any sort of major updates or anything on our end, but just wanting to make sure that we're able to put our stamp on that and know that you can, with confidence, go to 9.6.2 in our modules. So that's the latest and greatest from my perspective. Looking to have 1.8 out late August, and 1.9 is getting planned and cooked up now. Going to see some really exciting things there around new grid, new calendar view, the stuff that Bogdan showed last week. We'll be taking that up in 1.9.
Thanks a lot. There's a lot of cool things coming. We are very excited for it. We do have one question from Jim. The question is, what is the definition of your usage of the MVP acronym? It appears in the new listing module, and I think in KPI dashboards as well.
Yeah, excellent question. And this is one that MVP first came out in kind of Scrum Agile lingo a few years back. It really stands for minimal viable product. I think on our end too, really differentiating that with what is a POC, a proof of concept, right? And I would say POC is, let's get it out there, and you can try it out. We can get feedback, right? Until you see and touch a thing, you can't really know what you're missing if you got it right. And that's where I'd say it is right now. MVP is, you know, minimal viable product, and it would be that you can use it, right? It doesn't have bells and whistles, but the base functionality that's going to give a user value, right? And know that it works is going to be there. So in the case of the dashboard module right now, it has tiles that it will take against entities specifically. So where you have what we're all kind of used to is the run SQL to get data back and be able to power grids and drop downs and different things like that. In Plant and App, we have the entities, and they come with pre-done actions to prevent you from having to write that SQL. And so there's a read entity. And that is what the dashboard supports currently. You pick an entity, and then it's targeted, though, not at every field inside the entity currently, but more around the entries that have gone in there. And so it's really, you still have control over which ones you want to expose, but out of the box, it's meant to say, here's activity in the last day, the last week, all time, that sort of thing. And, you know, minimal as it may seem, that's quite handy and valuable just to even, you know, just know, is a thing being used? Is there activity going on? That sort of thing. That's leading the way then into the increments forward from MVP to being able to use the run SQL action, to being able to target things like, and sometimes you've seen in the webinars and demos we've done around like our partner onboarding portal, not just seeing that there's activity, but how many items of a certain status perhaps have come in, how many new leads, how many have moved into a state of maybe needing attention since the last time I looked. And the idea with this is to really radiate out information, not make people search and dig and filter all the time, but push the cream to the top. So then next kind of increment would be that you click on one of these tiles and you can use that to filter down your grid. Uh-oh, I've got 3 items that are at risk or critical or new signups, whatever your status is, your data you've defined may be. When you can first of all see that those things have happened as a radiation of information, but then take an action on, make that actionable, right? And click on it and now target down to that data so you can do something with it. Does that help? Does that make sense?
I think so. I hope it, yes, it makes sense for Jim as well. Thanks a lot, Reza, for answering this, and thanks, Jim, for asking it. It's a very good topic. I mean, we got so used to using acronyms that, yeah, it's best to have this conversation.
A lot of TLAs in this industry, right? 3-letter acronyms.
Good. So let's move on with our agenda. So the next thing on our list is to get our hands dirty and start doing some low code. In the past webinars, I was doing that, but as a disclaimer, I'm not the person usually doing that. But today I got the person from our team, Radu. He's our expert. He's built over 40 systems in the last 5 years. He's very talented in low code. He can move at an astonishing speed. So today he will continue developing on the application that we built. Thanks, Radu, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And then, but before moving on, we got this in the feedback form that comes after this webinar is completed. We got this suggestion actually, that maybe we should talk about the paradigm of developing systems with low code, right? Because usually, I mean, at least the customers that we interact with, usually the process is like this. They come with a high-level requirement. In our example, yeah, we need a system to track hours and bill them to customers. You know, that's the high-level requirement. But then the details of implementing that, of course, will vary from case to case. It will take a lot of conversation, a lot of discovery for the project, and probably also requirements that will change down the road. So then the path that works best for us, and we notice this as a new paradigm shifting in the low-code community, instead of spending that time writing those specifications and nailing every single detail, which from experience, we all know it doesn't work. Customers will change their mind a few weeks from now or a few months from now. So low code gives this ability to have like an extreme agility. You can start building software even before writing specification. You can start building software just for the customers to see what it will look like and have that trigger some ideas, some decisions in their mind. So usually how we work with our customers, because our team also does this kind of implementation projects, first, we agree on a proof of concept because we don't have trust yet. The customer doesn't know us. We cannot just say, okay, pay us per hour and you'll see what you'll get. We also set a time frame. Okay, let's see what you get in 2 days or 5 days or 2 weeks, depending on the magnitude of the project, right? So then we decide on those 5 weeks and we only tackle, I mean, what would prove that this system works for the customer requirements. And after that, we just move to hourly basis. I mean, sometimes customer ask us like, yeah, how many hours or how much budget should I make aside? We create that, but it's just a ballpark because those micro decisions that you need to do while implementing a system can be postponed. And many of those can be made directly in conversation with customers, right? Like if customer says, yeah, maybe I want a new field here, you can add that right away. You know, you don't have to create a specification, a detailed specification for it, iterate and so on. So that's why I think it changes the paradigm. And I mean, Agile has been around for 15 years, if not more. But this is the next step of Agile. Low code is like extreme agility. So that being said, let's move on to continue building the app. So so far, if you've been in this webinar or if you watch the recordings that we have on Plant an App, you saw that we build a simple task management app. And maybe Radu, you can share your screen instead of me rambling here. So we build a simple task management app where employees would add tasks and add hours on them. It's been working great for the purpose. We had a start button that tracked the start time, the end time. It rounded up to 1 hour, so we could have some data. And then we had a button to generate the bill. But now the customer wants to take it one step further. They want to bring customers in this platform. but their customers are not so technical savvy, and they don't want to go into learning another system, having a login to another system, because that's what usually happens in this world. You have logins to 100 websites, and it's a mess to remember each system where you need to go for each task. So then our decision for not proposal to the customer in this case was that instead of having to log in into this application, they will send an SMS that generates a task in the system. So that's what Radu will show us today, how to send an SMS that will create a task in the system and put it in the under the right customer.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, everything is well.
Right. So, and yeah, we are gonna do those things today. But the first thing that I would like to do before getting to what Bogdan just described is to introduce you to the Twilio integration that we have. The first thing that I want to do is I will like to send some SMSs from the platform and notify the customers about the current work that is being done on their tasks in the platform. And after that, we can go and after we get a little bit of understanding how the Twilio integration works, we can come back and do the actual adding the tasks to this view that you're seeing right now. As a disclaimer, the only thing that I did before showing you the screen, I prepared my Twilio connections, my Twilio credentials that you can find in the Twilio dashboard if you want to have an account. So the things that you'll need to know is the account SID and the authentication token. And what I did, I went to the workflows and set up a simple workflow that only has the send SMS action. And inside of it, I just went on the Twilio API credentials. I click on the pencil here, and I just came here and added my account SID and the authentication token. Another thing that you will need to have is a number from where you are going to send and receive text messages. And if you are going to go with the trial version of Twilio, just to try the product, to try the Twilio integration, I think they're going to give you a free number. If you're going to pay, if you want to continue with that and you pay, you will find your the numbers that you own under console phone numbers incoming. And for example, this is the one that I'm using right now for sending SMS messages. And this number that you see here, you're gonna have to set it up for in the from number. After the rest of the settings are just to what number that you want to send the text message, and the status callback API we can come later and discuss about what this does. All right. So coming back to the workflows, what I have right now is a simple workflow that it's gonna help me send an SMS. So I would like to test the SMS really quickly. I'm gonna test it with my phone number. Please don't call me while I'm sleeping. Okay, so hi from and I'm gonna run it really quickly. Okay, and just give it a few seconds. So my phone just ringed, and as you can see, I got an SMS from the platform. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to notify the client when I'm starting working on a 1 second. Oh, I have this open first. When you start working on a task, and when that task when someone stops working on that specific task. So most likely what I'm gonna do is when someone is gonna click the start button, I'm gonna send an SMS to the client saying someone is working on your cleanup disk. Maybe I can even specify the user that clicked the button. And after a few minutes, hours, or something like that, I can click stop, and the client is gonna get an SMS message that user stopped working on your task. So for doing that, I'm gonna come back and modify the start tracking time. And what I want to do is so if you don't know what is actually happening here, I actually invite you to have another look on the recordings of the past webinars. As a short summary here, whenever we click that the start button, this workflow is gonna start executing. Task, okay. Okay, so for what I see right now, I'm missing some information to send a proper SMS, but the idea it will be to go and add an action, and I'm gonna search for send SMS, and I can find my existing workflow. And as you can see, it has from the number that I want to send the SMS to and the text. For the moment, we didn't configure a number for the client to receive the number. So what I'm going to do for the moment, I'm going to send the SMSs to me. So I'm going to do something like this. Okay, and I'm going to say something like someone started working on your task. And I'm gonna click save. And another thing that I want to see is a task should have a title. Okay, so task is having a title, and the token is called task. So what I need to do to add the title of the task, it will be to add the token task title. And what I can again do is do date now. So the SMS, maybe the SMS is gonna have some time in the system, and it's gonna get to you 5 minutes later. So we add the time that actually the action happened. And I'm gonna click save. Okay, and I would like to go to the stop time tracking and do basically the same thing. Instead of recreating the execute send SMS, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna export the action that I already have. And I'm gonna go back to the stop time tracking. And I'm just gonna, excuse me 1 second, I'm just gonna import the one that I already have. This one is gonna receive a task as well. And the only thing that I need to do right now is someone stopped. Sorry, someone, oh, I clicked something wrong. I don't know. Oh, stop. Okay.
2 Ps.
It's no, yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna click save. Okay, now coming back to the, I'm gonna refresh this page just to be sure. And now let's try the cleanup disk task again. So I'm just gonna click start. And I'm just gonna give it a minute to see if I received the SMS. So you can see someone started working on the clean at this hour. I think this is the server hour. And I'm gonna come back and click stop. It's gonna add another hour because we're rounding up, and I got another message that someone stopped working on my task. Okay. Now, this being said, so this is how you send SMSs to notify the user, your clients about things that are happening in your system. And oftentimes we encountered clients that said, hey, I will need a mobile app just to send notifications to the clients. But we started asking them, do you really actually need an app just for only sending some notifications? Do you really want the user to interact? Maybe, and let's be real. You are reading all your SMSs, you're not reading all your phone notifications. So my feeling is like this is a a better way to let your user get the information that you want to send them to them. Okay, now receiving an SMS, it's a little bit trickier, but not impossible. So what I will start doing right now, I'm gonna explain you a little bit how it works. So the idea is that as you saw here in Twilio, you're gonna have a phone number. So every time someone is gonna reply to your phone number, you are gonna get an Twilio is gonna call an API in your system, letting you know that you got that message. The tricky part when working with SMSs is the fact that you don't have any metadata, you don't have any other information except the fact that that SMS came from that specific number. So in that situation, you need to know who the sender of the SMS is, so you can properly do the things that you need to do in the system. So that being said, the situation that we have right now is I'm not really sure, but I think the customer doesn't have a phone number. So even if I get an SMS number, I send an SMS number, Twilio gets it and sends this back to the platform, I'm not going to be able to identify who the person that sent the SMS is. So what I need really quickly to do, I'm gonna need to go to the entities. I'm gonna go to the customer one, and I'm just gonna add a new property which is called phone, and it's gonna be of type phone, and that's it. Okay, give it a second. And coming back to the application, I'm just gonna assign really quickly to the customer. Let's say the first one. I'm just gonna put my phone number really quickly here. Okay, really quick update. Okay. Now, I said earlier that we need, so Twilio is gonna call an API on my platform to let me know that I received an SMS. So we are gonna need to create that API. And as you can see here, we are gonna need to specify that API to Twilio so he knows to forward the SMSs as JSONs to us. So I'm just gonna go really quickly and say, create a new method. I'm gonna say get or receive. Get message is gonna work. And I'm gonna say it's of type get. I'm gonna add a property called status. So we are expecting that Twilio is gonna send us a status. And Twilio, when it's gonna send us a payload of information, it's gonna send us a status, and it's gonna send us a lot of more information. So instead of referring all the input parameters, what we did, we have a parse Twilio webhook SMS action, and which is gonna do what's gonna do this action is gonna take all the information that Twilio passes to us, and it's gonna give us tokens like which is the number, that we got the SMS from, which is really important. What's the body, what the customer in this situation said, and it actually has some other information like the city, the country, the state, the zip code. From what I've tested until now, those are not really accurate. So if you're planning to base your business logic on those, I won't recommend it. So I'm gonna name the output token SMS data. And with the SMS data that I have, I will actually need to identify in the system who the SMS, from who is the SMS. So what I can actually do right now, I can go and I can run a SQL query, and I can say select everything from app.customer, where phone equals phone. And this parameter here, I'm gonna bind it below, and I'm gonna say phone is actually my SMS data from. And again, SMS data from is actually the SMS data, and from this the number that I got the message from. Now having, and I'm gonna store actually this information in the customer output variable. Now that I have the customer information, what I can do, I will like to actually add another task. So I'm gonna go and create a new task. And the title is gonna be SMS data.body. So it's actually what he wrote in the SMS. The customer that I have is gonna be the customer that I identified based on the phone number. And the status needs to be, let's see if I have, do I have a status, task status? Okay, so I have a task status entity, and I will want to be in ID 1. So basically I want to put it in new. And I want to store I don't want to store the create new task. I don't want to store the new ID that I'm creating because I'm not going to use it further in the stack. And I think that's it. If you want, what I would actually recommend is to, if you are not expecting to respond to you are not creating an API that actually has a response. You don't need to add a response action. What I'm usually doing, I'm just adding a row response empty, and I'm just saying, I'm setting the status, the HTTP status to 200, okay, to let the API that I got the information and not be broke. Okay, what I can do right now is click save and test, or I cannot save because I'm expecting the payload to be from Twilio. I cannot just save it as it is. Save. Okay, now that I have my API, I can copy my API and really quickly go to Twilio and edit this number here. And specify, put it here. It's an HTTPS and it's a HTTP GET. I think I set it to GET. Yeah, it's a GET. Okay. And I'm gonna click save. So at this point, the only thing that I need to do is actually send an SMS to this phone number. Give me 1 second, or if anyone wants to try it, they can send an SMS to this number and it's gonna, but no, not everyone can try it, because I have to be the sender because my phone number is assigned to one of the customers. So I need to do this. Okay, so give me one. Can I send it from? Well, I can do it from here actually, so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, and let's say create a contact form for me, and I'm gonna click send, and just gonna wait a few seconds and see if what I did was correct completely or something broke and I missed it. Let's see. I don't seem to have any errors yet, so maybe the SMS didn't get through the system yet. Not having any errors, it's a good sign.
So maybe until the message comes, can we handle in that API if the sender is not known to just reply back to them? You are not authorized to open tasks or something like that?
Sure. The only thing is I don't know if it's working or not. So just give me 1 second to see if I have any errors in Twilio.
Sure.
And if everything is fine, I'm happy to make that modification. Let me see. Outgoing API delivered. Wait. Is this? Okay, so it seems like Twilio didn't got the message. Is it because of my phone? No. It seems like Twilio that didn't get my message, so that's strange. But let's okay. Anyway, let's say it works as it is right now. And I can come here really quickly and see. Oh, I think I know why. Because of the security properties that we have right now, and the API is not authenticated through JWT. So the actions are done in the name of a user. Maybe we need to load the user really quickly. We need to load an administrator, so we can bypass the security for the moment just to create the task. Maybe the SMS got here, the query run, but the create new task didn't run because it doesn't have the proper rights. And also to handle the issue where the customer is not found, we can expect, for example, well, that's a little bit tricky actually, but not to be done. So maybe we can do this part on the next webinar.
I mean, you already have the customer token and should be maybe empty or right or yeah, ID sure. Should be -1 or empty. And
I can do something like to send an SMS, execute send SMS if the customer ID is nothing, I can reply to the SMS data from back, and this is not a valid customer. Sorry, so bad at spelling. This is not a valid customer, and also I need to end the stack. this should have been a little bit better if I had started doing a workflow, not a stack of actions.
Yeah, yeah. And then maybe on the raw response, you put a 500 or something, or 4.
Well, not actually, because I need to let Twilio know that I got the message and I treated it correctly. Otherwise, I was gonna throw an error in Twilio, even though I got the message properly. So it's just gonna be not correct, let's say.
I understand.
Where's that message? Where did that message disappear? Why did the phone number?
Yeah, is it possible maybe that Google didn't send a message? Can you?
No, I'm actually checking my phone here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try.
Is it an incoming message?
It should be, yeah, exactly, an incoming message. Maybe I have some examples somewhere here. Or wait, is it? Oh, okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, actually that makes a lot of sense. Wait, that's not. Oh, I don't see it because it needs to be that the send date should be today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying again. I send another one. It's weird. Is there? No. This is.
You know how long does it take for Twilio to?
It usually went really fast, like 10-15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I have no idea what's actually happening. And the problem is that I'm not actually seeing nothing in Twilio, so I'm not blaming my code yet.
Yeah.
I'm not, or am I sending to the wrong number? Is that possible? So I'm sending to the one that ends with 147. 147, and the one that I'm sending sending messages from is workflows. Send SMS edit is the one that ends with 147. So I don't really know what's actually happening right now. I'm gonna be, and I know I edited the wrong number, or I didn't save.
Okay, cool.
I didn't save my API. I mean, like, I saved my API. I didn't save the API in the settings of Twilio. So
Got it.
that's my bad. Sorry.
Apparently
pasting doesn't really help. I was pushing most likely to another system. Sorry, SMS messages, HTTPS. It's a get method, save. That's more likely. Saved. Okay, let's copy this message, paste it here, and send it again. Okay. Yeah, it worked first time.
That's good. And I think that's the authentic developer experience. You always forget something, especially when you work with multiple systems. You have to remember to patch things all over. So we are out of time. So I think we accomplished a great deal today. I think it's we demonstrated what we wanted to demonstrate, and that is building customer interactions the modern way, like doing the minimum that's required to get the job done, instead of having the customers log in here, learn a new system, which we know nowadays, and the same with mobile apps. Nowadays, you have so many apps, so many accounts on different various SaaS platforms, that's becoming difficult to operate with so many. Whereas SMSs is something that people have done for ages now, and it's a known process and a known way to communicate. So thanks a lot, Radu, for doing this for us, the community. It looks beautiful. So I'm hoping that that you got value out of this webinar today. I will check the Q&A and chat to see if there's anything left to answer. There are no pending questions. So thanks a lot for being here today. I'm hoping that you learned new stuff, that you get ideas for your current or next project. And also, I want to ask you to provide feedback on this webinar. It really helps us improve from edition to edition. Let us know what you'd like to see, what you like to learn in this. Also, we accept guest speakers. So if you have like a very interested subject to present to the community, I'm more than happy to arrange it to be part of this webinar. So thanks a lot for being here, and I will be seeing you again next week.